That's coming in. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has concluded his Italy visit with the G7 summit. Prime Minister Modi thanked Italy after the productive G7 summit. Prime Minister said Italian Prime Minister Meloni's born homing was on full display. Visuals that actually took the internet by storm. And in fact, there was also a selfie moment at the G7 summit between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Giorgia Meloni. Those are the images that have taken the internet by the storm over the past 48 hours. Our Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan is now joining me on the story. Geeta, the visit has concluded. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has thanked Italy for the productive G7 summit.
Well, that's right. He will be landing in India in some time from, or in about at about 9 o'clock. He was to land in India, but the fact is that it's the last photograph that came out of the visit, which is taking social media by storm. It's the selfie moment. It's again the hashtag melody moment between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. Quite a significant trip for Prime Minister Modi, because this was his first after assuming office for the third time. A lot of conversations, important conversations, deliberations with world leaders, where India did play an important role, not just in the outreach session, but it's the bilateral conversations that took place on the sidelines, which were very important. Apart from all the meetings that he had a long, detailed discussion with Giorgia Meloni, and of course that very nice light moment too. But he also met and had a brief encounter with President Biden and the Canadian Prime Minister, Prime Minister Trudeau. So significant meetings also to see how they can move forward. There is absolute clarity for the world that in India there's continuum, that this Prime Minister continues, and so they can continue the conversations that they were having before the elections in India. However, there are other countries, Aishwarya, over here in Europe, where there are elections around the corner, and there could be a change of guard, there could be a change of party itself, and should that happen, the next G7 will look very different. In all probability, Prime Minister Modi still will be invited, but the leaders would look different and would have changed.
Right, Geeta, like you rightly pointed out, we have seen what's happening globally with regards to the leaders. In fact, Meloni and Prime Minister were one of the leaders who actually won in their respective places. Geeta, we have seen how Prime Minister Modi has made sure that India stands out over the past 1 decade, over the past 10 years. Do you believe on that front also we will see PM going forward with similar kind of things that we have seen taking place over the past 10 years?
Well, there is certainly going to be continuum in foreign policy. In fact, Aishwarya, even if governments change, we don't see a huge shift in foreign policy. Take, for example, India. After Manmohan Singh government, we haven't seen a massive shift in how India has engaged with particular countries, what India's foreign policy has been. There has been certain dip in ties with certain countries, and certainly more engagement with a few others, like with the relations with China, and a more increased interaction and engagement with the West. Having said that, the policies for India have remained the same. What the other countries can move with India with clarity is that there were conversations that were already happening on many counts, particularly with regards to free trade agreements. And on that front, at least they know that with this government, they can move forward in the same manner, rather than putting the entire conversation coming to a screeching halt because of a change in government, and then restarting the negotiating process on trade deals. So there is a lot of comfort when the world is dealing with the same government, because they know that there are a lot of important decisions that had already been taken, that were midway or just about to be over or concluded. And a change would have meant a restart of quite a few of those conversations.
Right. Thank you, Geeta, for putting the G7 in perspective with regards to India and where India stands on the global platform at the moment.